Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I have some very exciting news for you today. I know that a lot of people have been waiting for the next Stitchery swap, and that's exciting in itself. When this video goes out, it will be Sunday the 2nd of February, so the next swap is due to start in just over a month on the 1st of April, and that's exciting in itself. But there's something more this time. We're doing things, we're changing things up. I've been chatting with some of my friends in Discord and with some of my channel members, brainstorming a bit and throwing a few different ideas around to change things up this time. So don't worry, if you want to do exactly the same swap as we've done before, you can still do that, but we've got some ideas just to keep it all interesting and keep our creative cogs turning. So I have a lot to cover. It may come out a bit higgledy-piggledy, so if you have any questions, if I don't explain something properly or I don't cover something, just pop your questions in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. Or you can pop questions in the Facebook group and or Discord community, and either I or someone else will be able to help you with if you have any other questions. First of all, just to briefly explain what the swap is. I imagine if you're watching this video you probably already know, but just in case, we have done 4 Great Big Little Stitchery swaps. Round 4 of the Great Big Little Stitchery swap finished on the 31st of December. The idea is that, so it's not like some other swaps in that you don't all send your swaps to me and I send them out again. I don't do any of that. I don't collate addresses or anything. What I do is give the ideas and the prompts and provide the platforms where you can find your swapsters, which is what we call the people you swap with. The idea is you go into the Facebook group and or the Discord community. They're both free to join. You're very welcome to join both. And you do a post saying, "Hi, I'm so and so. I live in whichever country you're in. I'd like to find however many swapsters, and I'm happy to swap with," you can stick to just people in your own country. You do need to bear in mind postage, and or you can swap with people all over the world. And then anybody who's looking for someone to swap with can comment on your post and say, "Hi, I'm so and so. I'd like to swap with you. I'll personal message you." You need to connect with each other via direct message or personal message, and you can do that via Messenger in Facebook. You can also personal message in Discord. Again, if you're not sure how to do that, please do ask. Do not share your personal details out in the open in the groups. So the idea is then that you will connect with each other, swap addresses, agree what you're going to do, because sometimes people do want to follow the optional theme, sometimes they don't. In the previous swap we introduced the idea of doing tags instead of squares, and some people chose to still do squares. You agree all that with your swapsters before you start. 4 previous swaps we started off just doing 10cm or 4-inch squares of stitchery. Any kind of stitchery is fine. In the last one, round 4, we introduced the idea of doing tags instead. That's an optional twist, and in fact the vast majority of people chose to do tags. I did tags, really enjoyed doing tags for a change. So they were 2 inches by 4 inches, the tags. They could be shaped as well if you wanted, but basically 2 inches by 4 inches. So there are a couple of big differences this time. For a start, it's not going to be the Great Big Little Stitchery swap round 5. It's going to be the Arty Farty Hearty swap. Which tickles me, as you can tell. Another big difference is that it's not just going to be stitching. Don't worry, if you still want to do stitching and you only want to swap stitcheries, you can still do that. More about that in a minute. But the idea is that this time we can include other types of media that people might like to work in, and I think this will give it a broader appeal to more people. I will certainly enjoy trying out a few different ideas in using some of the other hobbies that I really enjoy. So you could still just do stitching, absolutely, or you could do crochet, you could do knitting, you could do felting, you could do clay work, you could do rag rugging, weaving. Possibilities are endless. Your hearts can be any shape or size as long as it fits within that 10cm square. They could be shaped like hearts, or they could be hearts applied onto a square piece or a tag. They can be flat, or they can be as 3-dimensional as you like, but do be mindful about the cost of postage. I would suggest that if you were going to do something very three-dimensional, perhaps stick with swaps inside your own country because it will be cheaper, and perhaps do less swaps but spend more time on each one. That's what I'm going to be doing this time. I have got a few ideas here, just from hearts that have been sent to me, different types of hearts that have been sent to me, and I think, yes, a couple that I have made as well over the years. So just to give you some ideas of the sorts of things you could do. But I mean, it is absolutely endless. Now, if you still want to just swap, you just want to do stitcheries, and you only want to have stitcheries in return, that's the kind of thing that you can agree with your swapsters, and make sure that you do. I would say that this time in the post where you're looking for swaps, you actually say, as well as, hi, I'm so and so, I'm in this country, I'm happy to swap with whichever countries. You also say, I will be saying, I'm happy to have any kind of heart sent in return. I'm going to be making all kinds of hearts. I'm happy to have anything in return, because I'm quite happy to get a very eclectic mixture of hearts in different types of crafts and mediums and what have you. But you could just as well say, I only want to swap stitchery, or does anybody else fancy just doing felted hearts, or whatever, you know. I'm hoping this will work out, because I just think it's going to be so much fun. I feel really inspired. So I'm going to show you these examples that I've got in a minute. I'm going to come back over the next few weeks in the run up to when the swap properly kicks off on the 1st of April. And I've also got a Pinterest board to share with you. I'll put the link to that in the description box, and we'll have a quick peek in a minute as well. Thank you very much to Cool Kooky Creatures, Fabulous Jacks and Geranium Cat, who've all helped by contributing to the Pinterest board, because Pinterest boards were new to me, but once I got in there and tried, well, not new to me, I know I've looked at them for a long time, but I've always found Pinterest a bit confusing. But once I got stuck in there and started adding stuff to this board, wow, there is so much inspiration out there, honestly. We'll have a look in a minute. So if I haven't already said, the swap will kick off on the 1st of April. In other words, don't start sending squares before the 1st of April. I used to say don't even start looking for swapsters until the swap kicks off, but I've found with experience that what people do like to have plenty of time to think about the theme and what have you, and start getting their list of swapsters together before the kickoff, which is why I'm putting this video out now. And then you've got until the 30th of June to get your swaps that you make sent out to your swapsters in return. Let me take you to my desk and show you a few of these things that I've just got here, just as examples. And what I'll do is, if I haven't already said, I will come back over the weeks before the swap starts. I think I just distracted myself and went off on a tangent then. So before the swap starts proper on the 1st of April, I will come back. I'll try and do one at least once a week and show some different kinds of hearts that I'm going to be making in lots of different mediums. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. Here's a couple of ideas. Now, these were sent to me by Karen Nutting, just as a little kind of just because happy mail one day, and they really brightened my day, and how beautiful they are. Look at this, beautifully made, so neat. Really, really pretty. Lots and lots of gorgeous details. Look at the snowdrop in this one. And the daisies. Daisies are my favourites. Thanks so much. Just love them. Lots and lots of fun details in there to look at. So, here's a good example of how you could still, they would still fit the hearts, the Arty Farty Hearties theme, and but they're still flat. You could still send them just as a card. So they're shaped like hearts, which is different from what we've done before. Definitely they would fit within the 10 centimetre square, and they wouldn't cost too much to post. So you could do something like that. Here's another little example. This is one, so Fabulous Jack sent me this. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is based on, it's like a padded felt. It's felt at the front and fabric at the back, and it's got light padding. It's got this gorgeous label on the back. Look at that. Love it. And this fun stitching around here, and then all of these gorgeous buttons glued on. And again, definitely fits within the 10 centimetres. So that would work really well. That would be fatter. That would definitely be, here in the UK, that would still fit within a large letter, but you definitely couldn't send it like you would send a card. It's definitely goes into the large letter. These, I think, would go, you have to be under, I can't speak to what the rules are in other countries, but in the UK, you've got to be no more than 1/2 centimetre thick. And bearing in mind, you'll probably put that inside a card as well. That would just go through as a normal letter or card. This would be large letter. This was my whatnot. If you've been following me for a couple of years, you'll remember the whatnot fever. Where lots of us all over the world were making these little whatnots, these little slow stitchers companions, kind of, that I sort of just came up with the idea, put some kits together, and was very busy sending them all over the world for a little while. And it was lovely to see all the different whatnots popping up. That would definitely count as an Arty Farty Hearty. But it is quite fat. This one is just a stuffed heart that I've had for years. This came from a friend, Amanda, that I used to craft in person with. Haven't had in-person crafting sessions for so long. So this is stuffed. It's gorgeous. It's very simple. It's just a really bright, colourful fabric. It's very simply stitched. I've had this hanging on my craft room door for so long, and I love it. It makes me smile every time I look at it. And it's not too fat. It doesn't need to be that fat. I mean, I think you could probably squish that into a large letter, definitely. Here's one that Deb sent me. I love this. I love this little thing, and I keep it up there with my fabric journals and things. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's got pearly buttons on, which Deb has a real aversion to, so that meant a lot that she did that. Such pretty colours and things. There you go. That would be an Arty Farty Hearty for sure. Here's a weird one. This is one when I was obsessed with making baskets out of rolled up newspapers. For a while, I had some left over, and so I experimented with making these heart shapes, because I've seen them made out of willow and things as a home decor thing in shops, and I thought, oh, I could do that. And my plan was always that I would paint these white to look like those willow ones that you get. And then I thought, oh, I'll trap some beads inside, see how that looks. So I put some beads inside. So this was just the beginning of an experiment that then got abandoned, but just to give you the idea that these could be made out of anything. And for me personally, I'm happy to have hearts. I'm happy to swap with people and get whatever hearts back. I'm happy to get a whole eclectic mixture. I don't care what they're made of. But some people may prefer to have all stitched or whatever. Here are some beautiful little stitched ones, a bit different, that were given to me by my lovely friend Marion when we met up for the first time at the Bazaar event last summer. Look at these gorgeous little felt hearts. Aren't they fab? And each one is lovely on both sides. I don't know which is my favourite. Look at them. Oh, can I pick a favourite? Can I pick a favourite side for each one? No, I can't. Hey, I really can't. So yeah, something like that would be fun. And you could even send people a little collection like this, because they could be strung together, or just put into a little bag like this. That's just yet another idea. Another thing I want to play with is, now this isn't a heart shape, this is something I made quite a while ago now. Very much a mixed media project, this one. So I painted a background onto calico with acrylic paints. You can see how it makes it go quite kind of leathery, and then I turned it into this. This was meant to be like represent yourself, and then just stitched together. I added junky beads and things, homemade tassels, scraps of fabric, you can see. And I fancy doing something like this with hearts. I've got lots of beads and things I could bring into it. And I could use quite small scraps of calico and paint them, or I could just paint one huge piece and then cut it up afterwards, which is probably more likely what I'll do.
So yeah, that definitely would be one that I will come back and do a video on before the swap actually starts. This is my book I've made to hold just some of the swaps I've had in previous swaps. And this first one here was sent to me by Annie Cran. I love this. So she did this to commemorate Whatnot Fever, so you can very much see this is inspired by the Whatnot. And she even put, because they all had these needle threaders, she even put its own little needle threader, look. Oh, I love that. So yeah, I mean, that would still fit with it. That's still a 10 centimetre square, but it's got this very three-dimensional element, which is fun. And I ended up putting it in the front and creating this aperture, which I really enjoy. I just really enjoy the idea of that. I put this one here, so this is another book that I've made to hold even more of my swaps. This one was from Kathy. So there you go. So there is an example of a square with the heart on it, but it's completely flat, so you could just, you know, just send it in the normal, you know, as a card, as we have done in previous swaps. Beautiful. So that's just a few ideas there, but that's not including very many kind of other crafts. Let me take you to the Pinterest board now. So here we go. This is the Arty Farty Hearty's Pinterest board. I will link to this in the description box. I can see some here now have been added by, whether it's Geranium Cat or Tori from Cool Kooky Creatures or Fabulous Jacks, I don't know, but definitely there are some here that I don't recognise. So look at all these different ideas. I mean, I quite like the look of just those with these beautiful vintage lace pieces. What a lovely way to showcase those. These are all crocheted hearts. They're really cute. I love those. Oh, look at that one there. That's already saved to Arty Farty Hearties somewhere. Very simple ones here. These are tufted mug rug hearts. I mean, gorgeous. You know, what a lovely idea. And that's actually something you can buy from Etsy. So a lot of these, it won't give you instructions or anything. It will just give you the idea. Love this. So that's just mixed media painted onto, I don't know, board or something. Here's another rag rug one. Looks like that's been done with denim and an old fleece or jumper or something. Gorgeous. Lots of rag rug ones here, you can see. I think I better stop just clicking into these each time. Hopefully you'll be able to see these easily enough without me having to click on them each time. Loved these ones. Saw a few examples of that. Now this one I'm going to have to click on because you can't see it properly. Look at that. Oh. I love this woven knitted one. Look at that. Someone else has added that. I don't recognise that one. And there's a pattern for that there as well. Look at this denim one with the beads and the seed stitching. How gorgeous. Love this. I said I wasn't going to click on them, but you just can't see them properly otherwise. Look at that. Here's some ideas for that you could just do on squares. You know, something like that would be lovely. Clever way of combining those fabrics. So you could just cut a whole heart out of each of the fabrics, couldn't you? And then quarter them up and yeah, make four all at the same time. Progging. So that's a bit like rag rugging, isn't it? But slightly different. Love that. Here's some ceramic ones, but you could do a similar idea with polymer clay that you just have to bake in the oven. Look at this. I love that. I mean, that's kind of, you can't just copy that and pinch someone else's idea, but this is just for inspiration, isn't it? There's another kind of, idea for if you do just want to keep to doing a flat stitchery. There's so many. We've included lots of ideas. Whatever you want to do, there's something here. Love these. Love them. I thought doing kilt pins would be fun, making them look like little medals. That's an idea I've got in my head I definitely want to do. Where do you look at that? That looks like it's been done, like painted with, I don't know, what have they used there? Gesso and things on a canvas, and then they've stamped the words on. It's hard to know which ones to pull out here. I loved that there were some of these kind of anatomically correct hearts like this, but still really pretty. Look at that. I don't know how people work out how to make that shape. That looks like it's been done. It looks like the fabric is like a recycled piece of old jumper or something that's been stitched onto or something. I'm not sure, but it is gorgeous. There's another one there. That looks AI to me. I think that one is suspiciously AI looking. But still, no reason, AI or not, no reason why you can't take inspiration from it. Look at this. This looks like freeform crochet. Someone's been adding a lot of the anatomical hearts on. I didn't put some in because I thought that other people might not like them as much as me, but I can see somebody, at least one other person who's been helping me, really likes these anatomically correct ones. These look lovely too, kind of more simple looking, but absolutely gorgeous, and they've got some metal work in there. And I did think I've got some thin kind of sheet tin that you can emboss into. That's something I fancy having a go at. Actually, I don't think I've put that on my list. I love these ones. I've seen quite a lot of these ones. Yeah, I love the look of those. I think they're machine stitched and they're made of velvet. That is gorgeous. Here's a better picture of some different colours of them. There we go. Aren't they fab? Here's a ceramic one again. Now, I can't do ceramics, I don't have a kiln, but I could do something very like that with polymer clay and give it a gloss glaze, and it could come out looking very like that. I wouldn't copy, I would just take inspiration. But I could sit here for hours with you showing you these. There are ideas here for stitched versions, clay versions, rag-rugged versions, progged, stuffed, flat. Just, yeah, made out of all kinds of materials. Recycled fabric hearts, got to look at this. Look at those. Those almost look like they've been at least partly felted, and felting is definitely something that's on my list. Now, have I gone off the actual Arty Farty board? I think I have. This is what I always find with Pinterest. I end up getting kind of lost. These look a bit like something I've got in my head. Do you see these? That's kind of what I've had in my head to do with either polymer clay or papier-mâché possibly. Similar but quite different to what they've got there. This is quite similar to what I've been thinking of as well. So I've got lots of different art mediums and things that I can just do some really pretty things with. Look at these. This one. Oh, caterpillars in her hair. That's different. I'm out of the board now. Look at all of these ideas. So I'm going to drag myself away from this now before I get sucked in. So you can see there is an absolute wealth of ideas out there, whatever kind of medium you like working in, whatever is your favourite craft. I think you can make it work for this swap. And as I say, if you only want to swap like for like, if you just like doing mixed media art and you want to swap with other mixed media art, you can arrange that with your swapsters. If you just want to do stitchery, you can arrange that with your swapsters. I think there are lots of different ways that these can be kept and displayed afterwards. They could be mounted in box frames or strung together into a banner or vertically into hanging decorations. They could just be used as separate little charms to hang off of bags and things like that. I've already decided, I think, what I'm going to do in mine. I'm going to make a special treasure box, like a treasure chest, to keep my hearts in, whatever shape, size and format and crafts they end up being. I'm not going to be able to swap too many. I think as some of them are going to be bulkier, I will need to bear that in mind when I decide who I'm going to swap with, because I've got some ideas that will be more expensive to send because they're fatter and things, but I could stick to within UK for them. And there are still some things I want to do that are smaller and flatter and lighter to send, and those would be the ones I'll send if I swap with someone overseas. So I'm going to play that by ear, but it is something well worth bearing in mind. I would say, if you've got a rough idea what you're going to do, weigh it ahead of time. I just weigh it on my kitchen scales, and then I go on the Royal Mail website and work out how much it's going to cost to send within the UK and how much it's going to cost to send to. I tend to check out America and Australia as well, and then I know where I am, and perhaps Europe, just to give you an idea before you decide how many you're happy to swap. And as I say, you might be well advised to just swap within your own country. I will certainly be doing fewer than usual because I think I want to be able to spend a bit longer on each one this time, and I think they will be costing a little bit more to send out. So yeah, I'm going to be swapping with fewer. I just want to say as well, how long have I been banging on for? Not too bad for me. I just want to say as well, if you're up for joining us for the swap, and it is the most amazing, joyful experience, it's a wonderful way to celebrate our community, this incredible collection of kindred spirits all over the world who've come together through all these hobbies that we love, and that is what I want it to stay. I don't want to see any bad feeling. I don't want to see anybody stressing because they've taken on too much or because something's happened. Sometimes things happen and they find they can't actually fulfill what they've promised to do. Keep your swapsters informed if there's a problem like that, or if you don't feel able to do that, please contact me. You can easily, if you go to my link tree in the description box to any of my videos, except the really old ones, you can find my email in there. Let me know if you can't manage anything else. If there's a problem, let me know, and I will let your swapsters know for you, one way or another. I have noticed occasionally somebody will do a post in Facebook or whatever saying that they're disappointed because one or two of their swaps hasn't turned up and it spoiled the whole experience for them. Don't let it do that. If it's going to do that to you, think twice before you go ahead with it. In my personal experience, this time I swapped with 30 people and I got all 30 back. One has only just arrived. It just got stuck in the post for a while, and it suddenly out the blue arrived just when both my swapster and I had almost given it up as lost. But sometimes things happen. I don't think anyone agrees to do this swap for any kind of malicious reason, because there isn't a malicious reason. And why would anybody want to sort of collect up a whole load of swaps, a whole load of pieces of stitchery from someone else, if they weren't into it, if that makes sense? I don't think there will be a horrible reason. I think sometimes, occasionally, people bite off more than they can chew, or something unexpected happens. And sometimes just people feel too embarrassed to say, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it after all, and now I feel bad because she's already sent something to me, or and I don't think just because one or two of your swaps don't show up, don't let that ruin the whole experience for you. Focus on, make the things and send them out for the joy of doing it. Receiving lovely pieces back from people is another part of it, but the whole experience should be something you enjoy. Don't take on more than you can easily chew, I would say.
so that you don't get stressed out, so that you can enjoy the experience. If you just do, 2 or 3 or 4, and then you think, oh well, I'm all done now, I want some more. From what's happened with all 4 previous swaps, even if you go in only a month before the end of the swap, you'll still find people who've just jumped on board who still want to find, even later than that actually, right up to the last couple of weeks, I've seen people still agreeing swaps, so you can always find more. So I would say don't get carried away and take on too many. In the first swap I agreed to do 45, and honestly it was fun, but honestly it was too much. It was too many to do without getting a bit stressed out to get them all finished. The next time I did less, but it crept up. Then I sat one out, and then I joined in with round 4 and did 30, and that was as many as I wanted to do, really. So yeah, I suppose what I'm trying to say is I don't want any kind of bad feeling about it. So bear in mind that some people will be like me and not be posting to the very deadline. You might post yours out on the first day of the swap if you're really keen. Some people they must have done all of their... I don't even start making until the swap has started. But some people make ahead and start sending things out on the first day. But just because you send yours out early, don't expect all your swapsters to send them back equally quickly. They might be like me and be up against the deadline. They might have other things going on. There was some talk in the Facebook group of other groups who have chosen to kind of name and shame people who kind of renege on what they've promised to send. I don't want to start doing that. We're not that kind of community. I would just want to encourage an atmosphere of positivity, celebration, joyfulness, supporting each other. Yes, it's disappointing. If I was to send 20 swaps out and only got 10 back, I would be disappointed, as I can't deny that. But in practice, that it's very unlikely to happen. The odd 1 or 2 might, and if you're not, how do I say it? If it's going to really upset you if 1 or 2 swaps never come back, think twice about doing it, just in case, because I don't want anybody being hugely disappointed and having any kind of negativity around this. The whole thing for me, and I think for the vast majority of us, has been an absolutely joyful experience, a real celebration, and that's how we want to keep it. If it proved to be a huge problem, I would just stop hosting the swaps altogether, but I would hate to do that, because I just think it has brought so many of us so much pleasure. One more thing to say about it, kind of in the same vein, is although it is absolutely amazing to get the extra goodies and things in for your swap, I have been sent some beautiful little bits of fabric and lace and things, and lovely things that people have made, gorgeous things. I'm not saying it's not lovely to get them, but don't feel obliged to. What I would suggest is that you take with previous ones where it's been flat things, I've just said, just take previously it's been squares or tags, but say I was going to wrap this heart up as a swap, I would just put a little bit of tissue around it and write a note in a card, put it inside a card, write a note in the card, because it's nice to perhaps explain what you're doing, or say hello, and just write your little note to your swaps or whatever you want to say, put it inside a card and put that inside an envelope, and that's it. If you put extras in, it will cost you more to send. I've also seen, just a couple of times on Facebook, I've seen people say that they actually got stung for customs duties on a parcel of things where people have sent a lot of extra things. So bearing that in mind as well. And I don't want anybody feeling like being put off joining in because it's like, oh, I've got to put all this extra stuff in, or there's an expectation that so-and-so sent me all this stuff, so I've got to send all this stuff. If you want to send extra bits and pieces because it just makes you happy to do that, then go ahead and do it. And I know how lovely it is to receive those things, but personally I just wrap the swap in a bit of tissue and put it inside a card and write a note. That's all I put in. I think that's all I need to say, but that is a lot. There's a lot, especially if you're new to the swap. If you've done the swaps before, I think you'll probably more easily follow what I've been going on about. But if you've got any questions at all, please do ask, and let me know what you think about the idea of the Arty Farty Hearties for a change. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and I'm bursting with ideas. As I say, we'll come back and share some of those with you in the weeks running up to the swap properly starts. Martin. But yeah, for the time being, I think that's all I need to say. Except, as always, at the end of my videos now, I'd like to say a big thank you to my channel members who will be scrolling up here as I'm talking. I'm just very grateful. Tom, my son Tom, and I both very much appreciate the people who've chosen to support us in that way. It means the world to us. It really does. If you're interested in joining, there is a join button down here somewhere. You can click on that and it'll open up a window and tell you all about it. But if you're not interested in joining, don't worry about it. You can still subscribe, and still costs nothing, and we really appreciate your support just by watching the videos, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and just by being part of the community, by joining the Facebook group and the Discord community. That at the end of the day, both Tom and I know Tom would agree with me, that's the most important thing, is this amazing community. So quite enough waffle from me. Very excited about the swap. Let me know what you think, and I will see you again really soon. Bye. A lot of waffle.